Hey guys, Gus here. Firstly, a very big thank you to all the replies I got on my video, and I thought what better way to start off a playlist than to show off some of my previously done work. Hope you enjoy it and take care. Okay, so the first miniature I'm going to show today is the Eldar Viper jet bike. As you can see, I did the base out of resin. I used scenic wave effects with a bit of white paint. Built up all the textures on the base there. Let me just take it off quickly. And I used these fibers, which are also scenic water effects, and you build them up with the coarser stuff, and you make the waves and add in white paint. This is just cork here on the base, and it was a bit annoying with this miniature because I built in a like a little coral reef underneath there with all the sand, but obviously you can't see it because of the ripples in the water. Anyway, so the actual miniature itself then, the Viper jet bike. Initially I got sort of all the blue gradient on the hull with just sort of glazing using the old midnight blue up to bleached bone, and I just built that up, and then the way I got the sort of mesh effect, I used very, very fine sort of chicken wire mesh that I got from a local art store, and I used white spray paint, obviously being very, very careful, because if you mess it up, you can destroy all the work you've done previously. To use the white spray, and then all I did was I used like a purple glaze, and I dragged that towards the end, and what that did was that colours in essentially all the white, because the white will pick up the purple colouring, and then I just built up the highlights from there. This is one of my older miniatures that I painted about a year and a half ago. As you can see, it's a Nurgle Lord. Again, I did like a scenic water base for him, and with this one, again, I used sort of a I started off with like a grey undercoat on the skin, and I built that up using I think it was bleach bone colour, and again I used glazes when I paint. When I glaze into the recesses, I used sort of a darker blue to glaze down, and you can see it gives it all that sort of like very swampy, watery effect. And the same thing again with the armour, using dark green, building it up to light green, and working with glazes again. And that's generally what I do, and that's what I'll teach in all the painting tutorials, is how to do all this sort of stuff. So with this miniature, the Wood Elf Spellsinger, I try to go for a very, very clean look. It was sort of a practice with very light colours, with sort of like whites. I don't know if you can really pick it up, hopefully you can. And again, what I did was I try to get everything up to like very, very light highlights. It's a very, very difficult miniature to work with because all of the features were so fine. But I really enjoyed working on it. And then I used sort of a magnetised scenic little base there, as you can see. That just magnetises back on. And yeah, there we go. Let me just turn around really quickly, give it a twiddle. Yeah, and that's that. This is probably my most favourite miniature in my collection. This is the Marsh Specter from the Lord of the Rings range. I really, really enjoyed painting this. Getting that armour right took a really, really long time. It was probably just an entire evening worth of painting just to get the armour right. And I used all sorts of different glazes and stuff trying to get the armour the sort of right finish. Again, a little scenic, swampy, watery base there. And that was all shadow grey, was all the cloaks, or the undercloak rather. And again, you see the back there. That again, that's just that. All that is just glazing, bringing down the green coloration to give it sort of a tint. And the skin was used Incubi Darkness, and again, I just built that up using, I think it was Rotten Flesh was the older colour, and you can see in the eyes. I used sort of very, very light glazes in the eyes of a dark purple. Also a little scenic base for it, which I've magnetised. Don't follow the lights, and this just magnetises onto the top, like so. Yoink. So this is one of the squads I painted. It took a very, very long time. I think it was about 2 weeks of solid work while I was on leave to paint all of these guys. Each one is sort of quite unique. I painted them one at a time, very individually. It took a very, very long time to do. They're all these sort of ruined city bases, which are built using sandpaper, dry brush sandpaper, and you can use sticky tape or whatever to get your template to make the road markings. A lot of fun to do, and I was quite relieved when all of this was finished. So each one's got his own unique base. Each one is painted quite uniquely. The heavy is one of my favourite. As you can see, I added in sort of rust effects into all the recesses, built up all the skin tones and all the shading and what have you. And yeah, I generally enjoyed painting. And last but certainly not least is my Space Hulk Terminator. The camera isn't really picking up the red very well on this, so I hope you can make out what's going on. So I built a little sort of scenic base using old sort of extra armor plates you can get from Forge World. Somebody gave me these, the interior of vehicles and what have you. And this is my first time using pigments. And I use lots and lots of pigments with the base and the little scenic base I built. And with the reds, I try to shade down with purples going all the way down to black, and then I shade it up using going up to oranges and then adding white into the orange. Naturally, if you add white to red, it goes pink. So you go up to the oranges. And then I did all the non-metallic metals, and I did sort of a little verdigris effect in with all of the golds, and added in the little shells on the base using I think it was a vampire count's spear, a skeleton spearman. And what you do is you use super glue them onto a flat surface. When you take them off, you've got the little rim on the ends like bullets. So I added in all of those, and yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed this little showcase, and it's a small taster of things to come. Take care now.